right, many of you tuning in for the first time may not know this, but I am an Ohio State Buckeye. Okay, I didn't go to school there, but if any of you are from Ohio and you understand the spirit and the pride of what it means to be a Buckeye or from the Buckeye State, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're thinking about leaving that for a state like Kentucky, well, you might want to tune in to today's video. So what are some reasons why some people would move from Ohio to Kentucky? Well, a couple simple answers would be military. You got military orders to Fort Knox, or a simple job transfer. Or in today's world, we all know that many people can work remotely and they're just simply choosing another state for a different pace of life. If you're looking between Ohio and Kentucky, what are some differences and similarities you might experience if you come here? The biggest difference is going to be population. The number of big cities versus small towns. Now, of course, Ohio has way more big cities than Kentucky. So you've got Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, of course, being the top three. Columbus alone has almost 1 million in population, whereas the two biggest cities in Kentucky are Louisville and Lexington. If you add up those two populations, they come close to the population of just Columbus alone. If you want a better understanding of what Kentucky is like as far as like how many people live here and the size of the populations in our towns, check out my video on big cities versus small towns in Kentucky, and that'll definitely give you a better understanding that Kentucky truly is small town America. Because once you're outside of the big cities in Ohio, you're pretty much in the cornfields. You're in the rural areas where there's farmland, country life, and that small town feel again. And really the only differences could be maybe geographically. In Ohio, it's a little bit flatter, where in Kentucky, there's many like areas of rolling hills. Let's talk about the weather. In Ohio, the average rainfall is about 56 inches a year. In Kentucky, the average rainfall is 46 inches a year. So it's really close. And if we're talking about maybe wanting to leave the gray, cloudy coverage, that hangs over Columbus and Cincinnati for several months of the year, well, if you're coming to Kentucky, you're not really gonna escape it. It's pretty much the same down here, and we get the same amount of average rainfall a year. I hate to say it, but you're gonna experience the same amount of cloudy days and rain. Now, I will say the humidity is a lot different. Once you pass the Ohio River there, across Cincinnati, something happens to that, that low-hanging cloud coverage. I don't know what it is, but it hangs a little lower and a little heavier here in Kentucky, and the humidity is just a little bit more than what you're gonna experience in Ohio. In summer especially, Ohio has this really crisp, cool fall and summer air. Well, in Kentucky, it's a little heavier and a little more humid. You can actually have good hair days in Ohio, but not really here in the summer in Kentucky. Let's talk about winter. The average snowfall in Kentucky is only 3 to 6 inches. Now, it can fluctuate between northern Kentucky and southern Kentucky, and each year can be a little bit different, but that's not very much snowfall. In Ohio, the average is somewhere between 22 and 28 inches of snow. So again, just above that Ohio River, they're getting a lot more precipitation in the winter in the form of snow. In my opinion, wintertime can be a little more fun because there's just a little more to do in the snow than there is in the rain. Now, some other differences and similarities are that Kentucky, as you probably already know, is known for its bourbon trails. Ohio also has similar trails, and in a city like Columbus, they've got the ale trail, craft cocktail trail, they've got coffee trails, and they've got distillery trails. So if wine and spirits and, doing the bourbon trail type things are something you like to do, well, Columbus offers those things as well. So Kentucky's not the only place. This is definitely something that bigger cities offer in other states as well. So if bourbon trails and craft distilleries aren't your thing, maybe sports are. So let's talk about the differences between sports in Ohio versus sports in Kentucky. There's a big difference. And the big number one difference is Ohio is football country. If you're from Ohio, then if you know, you know. Ohio State is where it's at. Now, back in my day, when Eddie was running the show, Eddie George, if that tells you anything about my age, he moved on to, I believe, the Titans and the Cowboys, and he's probably retired at this point. You know what? Don't tell me if he's retired in the comments. I don't want to know. He probably is. It's fine. Today, in today's world, kids like Kyle McCord and, well, maybe a few years ago, Chris Olave were running the show. I got kids their age. So if that tells you anything about where I'm at today, but put it this way, Ryan Day is my age. If he can coach the Ohio State Buckeyes, man, that's making me feel old. I'm like, someone my age is the coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes? I had to Google what is the average age of a college football coach, and it is mid-40s. So I was like, oh wow, yep, we're there, Val. Anyways, Ryan Day's got it going on with Ohio State. Great coach, and if you guys are a fan, you know exactly what it's like to be an Ohio State Buckeye. And Ryan Day was right. And if you're an Ohioan, you can relate. When he said, he was exactly right. On the day this year, 2023, when they beat the snot out of Notre Dame, and he got on that camera and he was so excited and let his emotions run and said, "It's Ohio against the world." Every Ohioan felt those words because every Ohioan knows how to fight. Ohioans are just fighters. We don't get anything handed to us. We know how to earn our way. We earn our way through everything, and the Ohio State Buckeyes proved it that day. So just being a Buckeye, like, you get the whole feel and the spirit of what it's like to be an Ohioan. I don't know any other way to explain it. This ain't Alabama. This ain't Roll Tide. This ain't Easy Street, okay? They get it handed to them, all right? Ohio State, we work for it and we earn it. And it's like that in football, and it's like that in life for an Ohioan. And if you know, you know. We're fighters, and if we get knocked down, you better believe we're gonna get right back up and keep fighting. So if you wanna hang on to that fighting spirit, or at least that spirit and pride of what it's like to be an Ohioan, I don't know if coming to Kentucky is gonna give you that same feel. Not with sports anyway. Just in my opinion, just saying. Now don't beat me up in the comments here. I get it. Kentuckians are just as passionate with their sports, but it's in a completely different way. It's basketball country down here. And I'm sorry, I just can't hang. I don't know. I'm an Ohio State Buckeye, I'm from football country. When I turn on the basketball games on TV here, all I hear is squeaky shoes. Now, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't ruin it for you. Now every time you turn on a basketball game, all you're gonna hear is squeaky shoes. But I just can't deal with it. So squeaky shoes got off topic, but that was just me being me. You got U of L and U of K here. Great teams, great colleges, fine. They play okay football and they play okay basketball. Is that okay to say? But when you're from football country, it's just different. You're not gonna get the Big Ten networks down here. You gotta pay for that specific network to make sure that you get the Ohio State game every Saturday instead of, a lot of the SEC games. We like watching them too. But if you want Big Ten, you gotta pay for the extra channel if you live in Kentucky. So back to differences in sports. We'll get off the topic of football and basketball. I don't want to upset anybody here. But if you're looking for like pro sports, well, Ohio's got it, guys. Kentucky just doesn't. Ohio's got the MLS soccer team, the Columbus Crew. They've got the NHL hockey team, which is the Blue Jackets. And of course, they've got 2 professional football teams, as you already know, the Cincinnati Bengals. And I don't know if you know of the Cleveland Browns, but they are a pro team in Ohio. That was for my dad. He's been a lifelong Browns fan. But Kentucky's got none of that, guys. Just really, UK, U of L, biggest teams around. And if you're looking for anything that's close to the professional sports scene, it's gonna be the Kentucky Derby, which is also a lot of fun and you don't wanna miss. So if you're a sports lover and you're choosing between Ohio and Kentucky, I don't know, guys. You decide. Okay, one of the last big differences is economy. Places like Columbus, Ohio is known to be a test market. Columbus is considered a test market for marketing new products and businesses. And it has been since, well, especially in the early 1990s, 2000s, but it continues to be a successful test market in today's world. Columbus was one of the top test markets in the country because its demographics mirrored what the rest of the country looked like. Ohio is hugely diverse, and the bigger cities are known for their food scenes. Tons more nightlife, and a ton of restaurants in places like Columbus. Ohio is huge on advanced manufacturing and tech industry, healthcare and financial services, and it's known for its young and innovative vibe thanks to the art scene and the booming tech industry. Kentucky, on the other hand, is known for its manufacturing industry. Agriculture, healthcare are all big here in Kentucky, but it is definitely not a test market. Kentucky is small town America, and if small town America is what you're looking for, thousands of people are researching what Kentucky is all about because they are looking to mostly get away from the big cities, Columbus being one of them. Although, like I said before, earlier in the video, Ohio is a lot like Kentucky, but in the big cities, it can feel very different. Thousands of people are leaving the big cities, like places in California, New York, Chicago. We get weekly calls of people wanting to ask more questions about Kentucky because they want to leave the heavy traffic, the high cost of living. Now, I will say, in comparison to Ohio and Kentucky, the cost of living is pretty similar. The average median home price in Columbus right now is about $290, while here in Kentucky, the average home price is about $265. There's not a whole lot of difference there when it comes to the average home price. But when you're leaving a bigger city from a bigger state, oh, it can definitely be different. So to be perfectly honest with you, I'm not 100% sure why someone would want to leave Ohio for Kentucky, because in my opinion, they're very, very similar, except for, of course, the big cities. But once you get outside of those, Ohio can pretty much feel the same. Small town America, rural country life. But if you're coming here for a specific reason, well, I can testify that I have lived my whole adult life in Kentucky, 23 years now, and Kentucky has a way of getting down in your roots as well. There's just something about it that makes it feel like home. So for me, I can testify that after living here as long as I have, I really can't call another place home. Now, we did try. If you've seen any of our previous videos, you saw that we had made an out-of-state move and went to Idaho for job reasons. Now, and I had explained this in another video, but Idahoans are a lot like Ohioans as far as like mannerisms and behaviors, but it is still not the South. So there's something about Kentucky and urban culture and horse racing and just that small town America country life that gets in your spirit too, in a totally different way than maybe it does in Ohio, that is hard to explain. But once you're here and you've been here a while, you'll feel it too. It's a great place to live, strong family values, people that like to talk to you. I think sometimes when people are coming from a bigger city where they just don't get that community feel, you're definitely going to experience that here in Kentucky. So like I said, if you're coming from Ohio to Kentucky, let me tell you one thing, it's not that far of a drive to go back home if you want to. So I've lived it for 23 years. I just hop, skip, and a jump over the river, go to Columbus anytime I want, up to Polaris to go shopping, whatever. German Village if you want to hang out there. The Short North, I know all about it. I used to work there. Matter of fact, I worked at a 5-star dining restaurant when I was in my early college age years. A lot of fun. Columbus can be a lot of fun. But if you're coming here to a smaller, quiet country town in Kentucky, you won't be too far from home. It's about 4 or 5 hour drive to Columbus. It's not that far. So if you want to know more about Kentucky, well, you can certainly check out any of our videos on our channel. Now, while we can't be your personal tour guides, we do have other guides for you that could be helpful if you need more information on what Kentucky is like. And those are always found in our description box below, as well as our contact information. If you know you're moving here, you have plans to come to Central and South Central Kentucky, please don't hesitate to reach out. Our information is always in the link below, and you can get on our website, hardestyteamrealtors.com, even search properties if you want, and click the buttons there to contact us and reach out. We're always here to help. We hope the video was helpful, and we hope you have a good day. See you next time.